Hey everybody, welcome to Throwback Thursday episode 4. Can't believe I've been doing this for a month already, these Throwback Thursday episodes. And today I'm going to be talking about a band called Social Distortion and their debut album called Mommy's Little Monster. Now, Social Distortion, this album came out in 1983. I couldn't find an exact date. And this was in the early 80s, obviously 83, and punk rock had pretty much gone underground for the most part by that time. Um, there was the whole thing with the Sex Pistols, who were gone by then, the Ramones, who were still around, but putting out music that wasn't really being consumed. Not that people really ever bought their music, but like even less. It was selling even less at this point. It was still good, but you know how that is. And the Clash, which were who were they were on their way out. You wouldn't know it because they had just released Combat Rock either that year or the year before and had two big hit singles off it. But their last album would come a couple years later, and they were pretty much done by this point. And they had pretty much gone underground with bands like Dead Kennedys, Minor Threat, the Misfits. Misfits had been around for a while. The Circle Jerks, bands like that. And there was this band called Social Distortion, which was out in California. And they had just done a tour the year before recording this album with a band called Youth Brigade. I'm not really familiar with this band, but it was a successful tour, and they decided, well, actually, at the end of the tour, they broke up. This band has broken up a few times. They broke up. Then they realized that the tour was successful, so they decided to get back together to record an album, their first album. And they went in the studio on Christmas Eve, 1982, and recorded the whole album in one day. The whole album. So it was rushed. It was a little rushed. They wanted to save money. They were on 13th Floor Records. It was a record label owned by their manager, actually. So who knows if they would have even been able to record the album if that wasn't their manager's record label. But yeah, they did all in one day to save money, which worked. It's not sonically the best album because of how rushed it is, but I like it. So yeah, like I said, it was released on vinyl in 1983 on 13th Floor Records, and it wasn't released at all on CD or cassette until 1989 on Time Bomb. Not Time Bomb, sorry. It wasn't released until 1999, but then it was re-released in 1995 on Time Bomb Recordings, and that's Mike Ness, the main person in Social Distortion. That's the record label he started. So it's his record label. They re-released it, and that's pretty much the normal version you find today if you were to go find it. Yeah, it was their first album, and those earlier ones are out of print now, all of them. So if you want to get it, you got to get it probably from Time Bomb Recordings. And the cover is like the aftermath of a hydrogen bomb test. It's like a skeleton and there's a little kid wearing a mask, and they're like watching something on TV with a mushroom cloud, and it's just supposed to depict the aftermath of a hydrogen test, a hydrogen bomb. And yeah, so this album was released in 1983, like I said a bunch of times, and is actually a really influential album. And this was ended up being a really influential band to basically every punk band that came out of California after that. Like, Rancid, Green Day, The Offspring, Pennywise, all those bands looked up to Social Distortion, and This is a very overlooked album. That's why I decided to do this album. As far as I can tell, I looked on YouTube and I couldn't find any other reviews for this album. So as far as I can tell, I'm the first one doing a review of it, which is surprising to me because it's good. It's like 27 minutes long, 27, 28 minutes long. It's short, as you know, punk should be. That's the whole point of punk. And it's really good. It's really effective. It's their first album. They ended up, having some success later on with their third album, I believe, which was just called Social Distortion. And then again, I forgot the name of the album. The one with Born to Lose on it and Bad Luck and all that. I'll think of it. But yeah, they had some success. And then after that, they had a song called I Was Wrong, which was about Mike Ness's early life and his all the stuff he did while he was a drug addict and shit. Yeah, so let's get into the songs on this album. Now Mike Ness he's the main songwriter. He still is the main songwriter. He's actually the only original member left in the band. I'm actually a really big fan of Mike Ness. If you do check out this album, check out their other stuff and check out his solo stuff too. Now the thing with Social Distortion is they're a punk band, but this is probably their punkiest album because the difference between Social Distortion and bands like, the other bands at the time, like Dead Kennedys and all that, and the California punk bands that were influenced by them, the difference is, Social Distortion is heavily influenced by their punk contemporaries and the ones that came before them, but also very heavily influenced by 50s rockabilly, bands like the Rolling Stones, and people like Johnny Cash. And you can really tell in a lot of their music. A little bit on the first album, but after this album, it really comes out. And it really sets them apart from the other punk bands, and I like those other punk bands. I don't think Social Distortion gets enough credit. So yeah, I'll get into the songs now. I couldn't find really too much about these songs, like what they're about and stuff online. So I had to look up the lyrics and just make an educated guess for myself. So these aren't necessarily what the songs are about, but they're what my opinion is what they're about. Number one is called The Creeps Just Want to Give You, in parentheses. It's basically about him scaring people, him being a punk and, scaring people, and he just wants to give, the establishment the creeps and freak them out. It's a good song. I like it. I don't know if I would use it as the opener, but it's a good song. It's not one of my favorites on the album, but it's good. Okay, Another State of Mind, number 2. This would have made a better opener, I think. It was the only single released off the album. And it's a song they continue to play live now, all these years later, along with the title track from the album. There's a really good cover of this that Green Day does as a bonus track for the 21st Century Breakdown album. It's a really good cover. It's not as good as the Social Distortion version, but it's really good. So if you like this version, you should check out that one too. If you like Green Day, or a lot of people don't, but I like them. Okay. It Wasn't a Pretty Picture. One of their songs about societal issues. It's about a murder. They mentioned a murdered whore. They mentioned politicians doing drugs and all that stuff. Just, what do you call it? Just corruption. Corruption in life, corruption in politics, just corruption in general. They can be a really topical band sometimes. And it's cool. Alright, number 4, Telling Them. Just a song about who he is, how his parents don't understand him, and how he he does what he does. He does what he wants to do his own way, and that's just, you know, telling them, it's like telling them this is how I do it. This is how it's going to be. Another really good song. Hour of Darkness, number 5. I think it's about him in a mental ward, going to a mental ward for, I mean, going on it, like taking LSD, having a bad trip, going to a mental ward, and basically saying, if he does this again, he's gonna be in the morgue next time instead of the mental ward. Kind of a downer song, but it's really good. Okay, Mommy's Little Monster. It's the title track, and from what I could tell, it's about him being like the black sheep in the family. How he's on unemployment. He likes to break the rules, and his family isn't happy with him. There's a quote. It says, his brothers and sisters have tasted sweet success. His parents condemn him, say his life's a mess. That's one of the main lines in the song. Just a black sheep of the family. And there's another part about a woman, basically the same thing. She's just not looked upon in a good way, and she just does things her own way. And there's a lot of that kind of thing on this album. The whole, you know, a lot of punk music is about that. Okay, Anti-Fashion. I like this song a lot. I like Mommy's Little Monster a lot too. Another State of Mind, Mommy's Little Monster, Anti-Fashion, and yeah, It Wasn't a Pretty Picture are probably my favorite songs on the album. Anti-Fashion, he's just talking to a rich girl, putting her down for, you know, she gets everything handed to her, and how he wants to take her rich girl clothes and her car. Talks about her car that she got, her parents bought her. Sorry, I'm looking at these notes. They're all like jumbled. But yeah, Anti-Fashion is a really good, another like anti-establishment song. It's a good punk song. It's a really good song. All the Answers. It's about the punk scene. It's about how people look at them with their colored hair and their funny clothes, and you know, and basically telling everyone, all the adults, like, you know, this is, you may put us down, but we're the future. We're your future, and you got to stop complaining and accepting who we are. And yeah, another good punk song. Okay, the last song. Is it the last song I'm on? Yeah, I didn't skip any. Okay, Moral Threat. It's about, again, being punk and getting beat up for what you look like and just being singled out. There's a line about how, you know, when we're alone you beat us up, but when we're all together you stay away. And I've known a lot of people like that in my life. So, and he says he's gonna get even with this person that beat him up, and suicide will be his only safety from him will be for him to kill himself. So it's some pretty heavy stuff. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is their first album. It's really punk for them. I mean, they're considered a punk band, but this is punk. If you've heard their other stuff, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's also the longest song on the album. It's 5 minutes and 16 seconds. So the rest of the I figure the rest of the album is about 22 minutes total. The other 8 songs, so it's just in and out like a Ramones album. Yeah, there's one song, Mommy's Little Monster, was on Tony Hawk's Underground. So if you played that game, you've probably heard that song and not known it. So yeah, that's Full to Distortion, Mommy's Little Monster. Good, solid punk album, especially for a debut album. I really like it a lot, and this album's really overlooked, even by people who listen to Social Distortion. If you like punk music, you like old punk music, like when punk music was punk music, go back and, you know, check this album out and check out their other stuff. It's they don't have a bad album. So yeah, that's the album. Obviously I recommend it. I would probably give it about an 8. 8 out of 10. Just because it's short. I'm not a big, huge fan of short albums. That's what sucks about being a punk fan, old school punk fan like I am. It's a lot of really short albums. But the songs are really good. So, you don't want to take my word for it, check it out. So yeah, there you go. So now I've done an album from the 60s, an album from the 70s, an album from the 80s, and an album from the 90s. So now it's just, after this one, it's just going to be all over the place. So, alright, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like it, subscribe to my channel, and you'll see more of these. If not, don't. Alright, have a great day, everybody. And if I don't upload another video before Christmas, I'm thinking about doing a Christmas themed video. If not, then have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you after the holidays. Bye.